All right, so we have a very special episode today on our podcast. I'm with Miss Faith Burleson, and Faith is a good friend, and Faith is visiting us today, visiting our showroom and our MedBed Center here in beautiful Richmond, Virginia. And Faith works with horses up in one of the most prestigious parts of the United States called Middleburg. So, Faith, what do you do up there? I know you do a lot of different things up there. Tell us like what an average day is like in your world.
Yeah, so an average day is I work at a big upper level, top of the sport hunter barn. So we work with a lot of people from DC, and we have clients who get their horses with us and they're in training, and they show all around the US. We go to Florida in the winter, here in the summer. But an average day is I'll get to work. I help the guys with stalls, turn out any injuries, medications, all of that. And then by 9 in the morning, I'm on my first horse, and I ride probably 5 to 8 horses a day. And then I finish up at 6:37 after afternoon stuff.
Oh my God. So what time do you start
6:30,
and what time do you finish?
whenever work is done.
But like 6 o'clock at night, 5, 6 o'clock at night.
Some days I'll have an early finish, but most days, yeah, it's 6, 7 o'clock.
And how many horses do you ride a day? 5, 6 horses?
Yeah, it really depends on the day. Some days are busier than others, especially Joe season and whatnot. But
So do you ride the horses just to keep them fit and keep them moving? Like,
so a lot of our clients are lawyers, or they're in like government and stuff like that. So they don't exactly always have the time to come out every day.
right?
And they do it more as a hobby rather than a profession.
Mhm.
And so they invest in the horse, and then the horse stays with us for all of its care, veterinary work, training, all of that. And we keep them, they're treated essentially as Olympic athletes. They get magnetic blankets, they get Magna Wave. Each one has a catered diet with supplements based off of blood work and all of that. So we just kind of keep it in motion, and then they let us know when they want to come out, and we make sure their horses are ready and as good as they can be.
God, I love that. And so the reason for today's podcast with Faith is because this is the Terahertz wand. And Faith has been using the Terahertz wand on these horses for now, it's been probably about a year, maybe a little longer.
Yeah, it's been over a year now.
And like, this is amazing. So Faith, we've already got a video with you in one of the stalls, like going through and giving a horse one of the treatments that you give them with this device. This is the one she's using. It's a bigger, larger size than the other one next to it, as you can see. But since horses are so much bigger, it works much faster. It's much more efficient.
It does. It serves a bunch of different purposes.
So tell us about what it's doing for the horses.
So there's a couple of different things that we've really noticed based off of how you use it. And we have a couple of horses in the barn who get it weekly. I won't go too into detail, but basically, like, one of them has a little bit of fusion and arthritis and arthritic changes in his neck. So he gets maintenance, which is like steroid injections, PRP, that stuff. But what we do out of the body is I use the Terahertz wand, and I'll specifically wand those portions of their neck once or twice a week. And it really helps with mobility. If their client, like if our client, the one who owns the horse, is coming to ride, we'll do it before, just to make sure that they're nice and relaxed and feel their very best, or before a horse show, before they jump. I have one that I use it on its hind legs because he has a little bit of hind suspensory tendon damage. And he does a thing called landing split from a jump, which was where his hind legs are in a different position than his front legs. And it's just offsetting his balance a little bit. And when I wand him before and after he jumps, it shows that he pretty much never lands split, which is really exciting because he's an ex-international Derby horse. He was one of the top horses in the world, and he's now taking a step down and is a 20-year-old. So now he goes around the 2 foot with a little 12-year-old girl, and the fact that he's able to teach her the ropes is pretty awesome. I have a young horse who gets really hopped up and anxious at horse shows. So when they get nervous and stuff, I found if I just do like an all over their body, especially in their rib cage and gastro area, they get things called ulcers very, very easily. When I do that, I do it along their back, specifically of this thing called the top line, which is the top line of them, which is where all of their nerves and stuff branches out from their spinal system. And it really helps them relax. I've noticed it makes them significantly quieter, makes them softer in their muscular sculpture, their bascule and their jump. So we use it for a multitude of reasons, but it's become a pretty good staple in the barn.
God, that is amazing. And so for anybody that doesn't know Middleburg, so I'm from San Diego. San Diego has an area called Rancho Santa Fe.
Okay.
Rancho Santa Fe is Middleburg, except Middleburg is historical, like old school, 100-year, 200-year-old estates and
Absolutely.
equestrian and everything out there.
It's so historical, it's so classic, and everything is conservation. The roads are being conserved, the land is being conserved. Everything that I'm on is just so much history. And it's the place where fox hunting, where people have those paintings of men in white or red coats and hounds running around. Like, it's all based in Middleburg. I'm a part of, and our farm is a supporter of the actual first hunt that came to America from England.
Wow.
So that's pretty awesome.
So I've told you that my mom loves Middleburg, right? And the Salamander Grill.
Yes. Salamander is a big hit.
Salamander is a huge hit, but like 3 blocks down the street is one of the oldest bars in the United States.
Oyster Bar?
Oyster Bar. It's like the hotel bar right there. And like Paul Revere drank there, and George Washington, and like it's still like it was used as a hotel, as a bar, and it's like from the 1700s. So when you roll into Middleburg, you are rolling into a historical place where, some of these estates are 500-600 acres, and it's a half mile straight down just to even get to the actual home with the magnificent gates. But
exactly, like the farm that I'm on, it was Paul and Bunny Mellons, which they're hugely known up there, but the estate used to be 6,000 something acres, and he had his own private airstrip. He had multiple barns. He had one house for his first wife, and then that house turned into a museum, and he built another house for his next one. I mean, it is just so much history, and it is now conserved in, like, it can't be commercialized into less than 400-acre units. So it's pretty good about keeping the history there, though.
I love that. And that whole area, I love the fact that they're conserving that. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, Faith, you are in like ground zero of one of the most respected equestrian horse areas in the country. And so, but tell us a little bit about the training, because I know that the English training, right, and rodeo training kind of styles.
Yeah.
But you guys do obviously up there would be the English style training.
Yeah, for the most part. So I live in a little sub part near Middleburg called Upperville. It hosts the Upperville Colton Horse Show, which is one of the oldest, might even be the oldest horse show grounds in the United States. It hosts it's just on a different scale. There's dozens and dozens of Olympians who their home base is here, and we have the Middleburg Training Center, which trains racehorses. So there's so many different divisions, I guess, sections of the English industry. But where I'm working is a hunter jumper facility. So we mostly do the hunters, and it's like pace. It's jumping. And they are working 6 days a week normally. Each horse's schedule varies based off what they need, but it's lots of fitness work, and it's bending the horse and making sure that their musculature is exactly where it needs to be for them to be in their prime.
Kind of like a horse chiropractor almost.
Yeah, so a lot of our horses get chiropractic work monthly. And they go based off how they feel under saddle, what kind of work are they needing. We do a lot of hacking out. So we don't go in the ring every single day. Every horse trail rides once or twice a week, rides in the field once a week, just to keep the stimulation, not
Keep them
drill them
active
too hard. Yeah. But it's very closely monitored. Some horses are even wear like muzzles when they go outside because they struggle with like thyroid issues or get a little bit chubby. And that also affects their work. So different times of year, they are in different fitness levels. We back them down a little bit in the winter just because it's so cold. The ground is cold and that's shock reverberating through their body. And it's just harder on their body when it's cold.
Right.
In the dead heat of summer, they work also a little bit less because it's just so hot. It's not fair to them. They can overheat. And so it's very, very closely monitored based off shows where the horses are going. I think 8 or 9 of ours are about to head down to Florida pretty soon. So
I love that. So if you follow the channel, Faith sent us a video. It's been about a year ago, maybe a little longer, where you actually did a treatment with one of the horses in one of the stalls, and you just flipped the camera and just went right in, and you're using the back and the hips, and you were all decked out in all your equestrian gear. It was like, wow, that's the real deal.
Yeah, it is. The horses really love it. They show a immediate reaction to it. You can tell where they're more sore than other places. I do sessions where I'll go do people's horses at horse shows and stuff, and I'll be like, how do they feel in their hips or their SI or hocks or this and that? And typically I'll get a response of, oh, it takes maintenance, it takes injections and steroids to maintain that area because there's a immediate reaction from them when it's somewhere that needs the focus. And then as I do the horse more and more, I tailor to what they typically need.
Because you can kind of get the feedback from the horse and
figure
out what their spots are that are most needed to kind of use it on.
Absolutely. And then I also take into account, I'm riding these horses almost every day. My lovely boss and trainer is also riding these horses, and we collectively say, they feel a little stiff in their shoulder, their hip, or their back, or the X part of their neck, or it's always, and then I might take the wand in there to see what I feel otherwise.
That's so amazing that you are so connected with these horses that when you ride them, you can actually know what is out of balance or what's stiff or what's sore. I mean, like that is really amazing, like that you've got that connection with these horses.
That's what the sport really is. It's the tiny things. Like we do all these exercises that are like poles that are spaced like X amount of feet, and it'll like change based off like 6 inches. And you have to change the entire way the horse is working and its balance. And it's all much more intricate than people realize. Because the goal is to make it look like you're not doing anything. So you have to be in such a connection sort of with the horse.
So everything looks effortless, basically.
Exactly. They need to feel their best to be able to offer their best.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That is really amazing. And so now you deal with a wide variety of horses. You have some that are actively in competition. You have some that are kind of semi-retired.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of ours are in the range of 7 to 14, which is typically a horse's prime. They're still pretty young at 7, still learning the finishing tweaks and stuff like that. Once they start getting to the 12, 13, 14, they're really in their pretty solid years and they pretty much know their job. And we have a couple that are a little bit older. Again, a lot of us are going to go to Florida this year. That's one of the biggest show circuits is down in, we call it WEC. It's the World Equestrian Center in Ocala.
Okay.
Or you can go to WEF, which is Wellington.
Okay.
It's the Winter Equestrian Festival. And those are pretty much the 2 biggest showgrounds in the US, with the winter circuit is a pretty big deal. It has all the international and stuff there, so it gets to be pretty intense. So I'll send my wands down with my boss because I'm staying here with the horses that are staying and training up here that aren't going to Florida. Either they're too young or they're working on something, they're not ready to compete at that caliber yet. They'll stay up here and I'll keep working with them up here and just communicate with my boss from Florida.
You know, these terahertz wands, if you follow the channel, we've done a lot of stuff on terahertz wands. I've actually got a testimonial coming up in another day or two with a lady that's had phenomenal results. And for humans have gotten amazing results: stiffness, soreness, arthritis, skin, mouth issues, lungs. But I love, and we've talked a lot about dogs, and even some videos. I got a couple videos with cats, and we all know cats are a little bit finicky, but the one cat that was on the video was like 15 years old and she loved it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And if you just put it on one of the softer settings, it doesn't have to be very high.
Yeah.
But to horses now, and I love the fact that they are getting able to use this, and that you're really seeing firsthand benefits and real, like, tangible, like, results with the horses.
Yeah, and we've noticed like long-term like good effects where I'll start wanting them, and I'll do them like every other day for a week or two,
Mhm.
and then I might space it out to once a week, and then eventually I'm just doing it like every couple of weeks when I start to feel that they
Yeah.
like it. So it has like a holding effect, and it kind of speaks to the quality of it, because it's in a barn, it's in dirt every
Yeah,
day when it's
yeah.
pulling air in, that's dirt going in there. It's
Yeah.
not normal inside dust.
Yeah, right.
It's outside and it's in a barn
Yeah.
with 25 horses, 30 horses.
Right.
And it's running for an hour, 2 hours at a time. And it's doing its job.
So if anybody is up in the Middleburg area, you have horses up there and you want to try this out, you can contact us. We can reach out to Faith, and you can set up to have the one of the sessions done with the horse. And once again, we use the Big Blue Wand just because of the size. It's so much bigger, and it just works faster because of the mass and the size of the horse, obviously. So that's also really, really good. Faith, I'm learning a lot about horses and horse training, and I've known you now for a while, and I know every morning. What time are you up? You said you're up at like 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm typically up between 5 and 5:30, depending on what I have. Horse show mornings are a little bit different. Typically 5:30, I'm already on a horse, prepping it for showing and stuff. If depending on what the horse is doing, if it's doing a derby, if it's doing a class with my boss, if I'm horse showing, if it's the client, it's what prep does the horse need the morning of. It gets the magnetic blanket, it gets wanded, it gets ridden on a trail ride around the horse show grounds, like whatever it needs. And on those mornings, it can be 3, 4 start in the morning.
Yeah.
Or a super late evening, but typically we try to keep the horses and us on a relatively set schedule.
So what would you say to any horse trainers, any people out there that are horse owners, about the Terahertz Wand? What would your recommendations be for that?
It's definitely worth it. It helps like a multitude of things. I have a horse who was supposed to be my upper level event horse, which is cross country. It's 3-day eventing. So it does the show jumping in the ring. It does dressage, which is, if anyone's seen the Snoop Dogg thing and Kevin Hart of the horse dancing, that's dressage. And then there's cross country, which is 12 minutes over X amount of miles at a very fast pace, galloping solid objects. And I had a horse who got injured.
I'm just so happy right now. I got my office mug.
I love
Dunder
that.
Mifflin, the office. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
fantastic.
Keep going. I know. It's just like, it makes me so happy. If anybody knows me, they know I love the office, and nothing makes me happier than coming in and seeing Dunder Mifflin on my cup. It's just like, I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream. And sometimes our office is like the office.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So I guess I love firsthand feedback. We've done obviously probably 50 or more testimonials with people, but I really love the fact that this is helping animals. And I know, like, a lot of people, dogs, cats, we've got a lot of dog videos. But to see it helping with horses, and having your personal feedback, because you're so ingrained in this industry, you live it.
Yeah. Well, and it again speaks to the wand, because of the caliber of horses that we're working with. We're working with the best in the world, the best veterinaries, like the vets in the world, the best chiropractors, the best acupuncturists, the best magnawave, and all of the possible things that all the therapies that are a thing are getting done to these horses. They
Yeah.
are, and it's, you find what works the best, and that's what you keep using. And we just it keeps working. So
Yeah.
we keep using it. And it's great that I can have it right in the barn. I don't have to have somebody come out. I can do it right before you ride the horse. I can do it after you ride the horse. There's no preset
scheduling.
Yeah, they don't have to have time off afterwards.
Yeah.
It's non-invasive. It's pretty great.
Wow. Wow, Faith, I'm just so impressed. We've said, Faith, come back down in Richmond. She's like, no, I'm not leaving my horses. You guys don't understand. I love this. I love my life. I love riding horses.
It's a special place. If it's an industry that you're in, it is like no other. It is like ground zero. It's the best of the best.
This is awesome because there's a lot of horse people out there. There's a lot of horse lovers. And every horse situation is different. Like there's rodeo horses, Western horses. There's a lot of people. I've actually sold some of the technology. Actually, the Tesla paddles are back, and we've sold these to horse trainers up in Northern California. And those are also very powerful. So maybe I should give you a set of those to take with you.
Yeah.
But I love
to try them.
Yeah, we're animal lovers. We love animals. We love taking care of animals. And I just, living a day of the life in Middleburg, Virginia, which is, like we said, ground zero for the oldest, most historical equestrian farms in the United States, and the highest quality of horses and training. And the fact that you're there every day and using these wands with the horses, for me, is just like, I'm like a little kid. I find it fascinating. I love it. And I love the feedback. And I know you're not a camera person. You didn't want to jump on, but I'm like, please, Faith, I'll do all the talking. I want to learn about, the industry and what you do. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And thank you for coming to visit us here over Christmas and coming down to hang out with me and Riley and the whole family down here.
Absolutely.
And, I guess the moral of the story, Terahertz wands, the Big Blue is the one for horses, but any and all of them are great. And I guess the moral here is that Terahertz wands are not just for people. They're also good for horses, animals, all kinds of pets. So Faith, once again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great Christmas, and I will see you again soon.
Awesome.